Great morning, great morning. If greatness is on the menu, why would you choose anything else? That's a quote from King Beyond Wynn here, man. Welcome to my home, Beyond. I appreciate you coming in for Lunch with Lawrence, episode 1.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, man, where did you get that from? How did that come to you?
It's funny. The coach sent me plays all day, every day. And so I jot those things down, and just like the 2 books that you have in front of you, they were all original quotes straight from my brain. Most of the quote books that I read, it was all quotes quoting other people. So I was like, I want to do my quote book different. I want to use the things that I live by, the things that I think about.
Yeah.
I want to use those things to empower, inspire, and put fire up under my ass on a daily basis, and the things that make me feel good. So I share that with the world.
That's what's up, man.
Right.
So let me run this down, right? So, one, Beyond is a man of many hustles, you know. One of the reasons why I got the hustle up there is to talk about hustling. Like, when I first met Beyond, it was through Alex, real estate deals. And then from there, it turned into you met somebody that does network marketing who wanted to buy real estate, right?
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit.
So 2007,
Yeah.
during the real estate crash, everybody was exiting, running for cover. Me personally, real estate has always been my A, B, and C. So I never thought about running. I was figuring out a solution.
Yeah.
And what came to mind was when I started to do some research, real estate has always been in fashion. Before I got here, when we leave, it's going to continue to be in fashion. So people with money, they want to continue to make money. So in my mind is like, okay, how can I service those people that understand investing, those people that understand real estate? How can I put something together to attract those people? And so it was simple. It was like a turnkey property, a tenant already in place, under management. That's attractive to individuals that's out of state and out of country because they don't have to do anything. And so shared the idea with a couple of my friends from New York that were connected to hedge funds, et cetera. So they came up to Cleveland. We rode through some neighborhoods. And so I was sharing my idea with them. And so what happened was, as I shared the idea, the different ways that we can make money collectively, they had a million questions. I hate answering a million questions. So,
Oh, man. Let me keep my question short.
yeah, so
No,
So what I understand is everybody won't see it, and everybody is not supposed to understand the play that coach gives directly to me. So it's up to me to put in 200% to make it happen. So I stopped explaining to them, and so I took a couple properties in my portfolio, started marketing them, marketed the properties, and the individual, which was Jordan, reached out. He seen the properties on some marketing platform. I'm not sure. Alex put them on some marketing platform.
Yeah.
And Jordan reached out, said he was going to be doing a seminar in Pittsburgh and Columbus. Cleveland was in the middle, and he kind of played with real estate for a hobby.
Right.
So fast forward, he came to Cleveland, came to our office, and before he came, I did a little research on him, and everything I seen online, he had one of them, what I call a permanent smile on his face. Like, permanent smiles, to me, that's like, okay, this is, to me, it's like abundance, wealth, and everybody around him smiling. I was like, I made up in my mind right then, just from the research I done, I was going to be connected to him for life. Whether we did business or not, I wanted to be connected to him because of that permanent smile and the other people's energy around him. I could feel it coming off the internet.
Yep.
So just like I seen online, when he walked into the office, he had that smile, and it was like his energy just lit up the whole office. And I was like, man, what is this? Like, how did you get that? And so we went and looked at the properties. It was three properties I remember like yesterday. The property I had on 125th and Buckeye, a property I had on Grantwood off 105 and Superior, and then another property up Superior Hill. Looked at the properties, walked through them, took like 5 minutes. It was the easiest deal that I ever done. He didn't negotiate price.
Yeah.
He said, I'm interested in all the properties. I want to give you $1,000 earnest money. And in 7 days, when I get my residual check, I'm going to send the remaining balance, which was $164,000. And so I was like, what you do for a living?
Right.
$164,000 residual.
And this is back in when? 2000?
This is 2007,
2007.
when the real estate market crashed. And that's how I got connected with Jordan.
Okay.
And what he actually done was send out cards to the relationship marketing company. So that's how I got involved.
And so that's my next question. Like, I know that you're big on building relationships, right?
Right.
So like, for those people who are watching and listening, how important is relationship building to you when it comes to just being an entrepreneur and being in business?
That's my number one strategy. That's my number one strategy, my go-to strategy. It makes both sense when you just look at life. Everything that we want, it revolves around relationship.
Yeah.
Everything. And so for me, I like to do less work as possible. I like to use leverage. So when I look at everything out there, and as it pertains to marketing strategies change every day. Companies paying thousands and even millions for different marketing strategies every day. But when I look at relationships, you like that one relationship, an individual may invest with you, partner with you on a single family home. That same relationship can be the relationship that's going to assist you in buying an island, a hotel, no matter what it is. And you don't need to do anything different. You just continue to add value to the relationship and being impeccable with your word, etc. But being intentional about building and maintaining great relationships, you never have to change that strategy.
That's a fact. So let's rewind a little bit, man. I want you to take me back to like how you got in real estate. Who introduced you to real estate? What was your very first deal? Where was it located? How much did you pay for it? Like, how did you get introduced to the real estate business?
So wasn't clear on this until around 2009 when I was on my federal sabbatical.
Okay.
And you federal sabbatical, like you ain't got nowhere to go. You got all the time in the world, so it's a great opportunity to reflect on your life.
Yeah.
Up until then, I was just action-packed and moving.
Yeah.
But when I had the opportunity to sit down and reflect on my life, it's like, you got introduced to real estate through your grandfather when you was a kid, working on houses with your grandfather and your uncles. My grandfather had a construction company. My grandfather used to build houses.
Okay.
And so that's how I first got introduced to real estate.
Yeah.
Like hands-on painting and carpentry work, drywall work that I hated. But that was my first introduction to real estate.
Okay.
That was my first intro. Fast forward. In between, after that, was a bunch of things that happened in between that from 11 years old to 20 years old, being in the streets, like all of those different things, everything you could think of.
Yeah.
And then I got introduced to real estate again from the investment side through a friend of mine that owned a bunch of real estate. Okay. And at the time, I was looking for an exit strategy from the streets. And it was the closest thing to the money that I was used to making. It seemed like it would be perfect. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. And so I got a coach at that point, a real estate broker. He coached me through my first deal and my second deal. And when I bought my first property, I was 17 years old. I bought my first property on Corman Avenue off of 79th and Superior, between Superior and St. Clair. Wow. Single family home, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I moved into that property, and then 6 months after that, no, probably 3 months after that, I was on a state sabbatical. So,
okay, you love these sabbaticals, man.
So yeah, and my first fix and flip, I came back off the sabbatical. My first fix and flip, I was 19. I was 19, my first fix and flip, and I was on 72nd place off of St. Clair Avenue.
Wow. So you've been in the real estate game for easily a little over 20 years.
Absolutely.
That's what's up, man. So like, for people there's so many people who always want to get into real estate, right?
Right.
They don't know where to start. We get asked this all the time, right? What advice would you give somebody? It's two questions, a twofold question, right? Like, what advice would you give somebody who wants to get into the business? And I want to also talk about how the real estate business could create more than just one income.
So I have two answers. The first answer is for an individual that don't really have that much capital. Go do some research on YouTube. YouTube University. YouTube, you can find tons of videos on every aspect of real estate. Yep. So start there. Go to YouTube an hour a day so you can get familiar with the terms. You can get familiar with the strategies. And as you're intentional about doing that research, an hour a day, you will find something that appeals and that attracts you. I would say start there.
Now let's get into the money part, man. Everybody likes to talk about money, right? So with your business, what streams of income what other streams have you created other than flipping, but within real estate? Like, what all do you do when it comes to real estate?
So I buy and hold.
Okay. Now what's buy and hold?
Buy and hold is basically buy a property, rehab it, put a tenant in place, and keep it for monthly income.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. Fix and flip retail to homeowners. That's basically properties in the suburbs. Those are places where people want to move to long term. So we buy those, rehab those, and sell them to homeowners. 3, wholesale. And that's one of my favorite strategies. Once you get your knowledge up, you can wholesale properties with no money and no credit. Most people are using that marketing to get people in their program saying no money, no credit, because that's attractive to everybody because everybody's looking for a microwave approach. I don't agree with that. Okay. I agree with once you get your knowledge up as it pertains to wholesaling and you get some resources and you build some relationships, you could do it with no money and no credit. But just getting into the game and you don't really know anything and you don't have any hustle. See, if you don't have no hustle, like you're gonna get frustrated and quit. But wholesaling is my favorite strategy because a lot of deals I do with, no money, no credit. Yeah, so I love that strategy.
So just based off knowledge and being knowledgeable about the wholesale business, you're able to create income without using any of your own personal income.
Correct.
That's dope.
And turnkey real estate. Basically, turnkey means rehab the property, put a tenant in place, put it under management, and selling that investment to out-of-state or out-of-country buyer. But again, I'm gonna go back to wholesaling. I think wholesaling is the strategy that gives you the most options and the best options, especially in a climate like today, where real estate, everybody interested in real estate because everybody's talking about it. Athletes, celebrities, etc. And with most people just follow. They don't do any research or study. They just follow what somebody else says is the hot thing. And so it's a demand, and the inventory is super low, right? It's super low in terms of if you got to look on the MLS or deal with a real estate agent. But with wholesaling, you're not looking on the MLS and you're not dealing with the real estate agent. You're talking about off-market properties. So these properties aren't marketed anywhere. So learning how to find off-market properties where you get up close and personal with homeowners, it puts you in a position where you get the properties for pennies on the dollar, and all the other strategies that I mentioned, you have an option on which strategy you want to use versus only knowing one strategy. Most people in 2007 that got crushed, they only knew one strategy. So they couldn't pivot when the real estate cycles change.
So, it's crazy, man, because I got caught up in that 2007 whole thing. But the properties I own, I had mortgages on all my properties, right? So unfortunately, I lost all those properties. But for me, I ended up getting into the property management piece and grew my property management business. It's pretty dope because I build relationships with all of my clients. And so based off of that, clients are always looking to purchase more property, which I brought some buyers your way. Clients are looking to invest, so they send money for me to go out and find properties to invest in. I make a percentage off of that, so I love it. But another cool thing about what you do, as you didn't mention, that real estate allows you to do is create courses, those summer courses, those online or in-person classes where people want to pay you for your knowledge, and then you're doing group courses where you're going out to properties. I want you to speak a little bit on that. And I remember one time you were doing this thing where it's like a pop-up shop, but at a rental property where you send out an address, tell people to come, and then teach them the business with inside a property. But you took that, you were doing that for free at first.
Correct.
And now you do something, what is it called?
The 2-day infield training with the pros.
2-day infield training with the pros where it's almost free. Right.
Yeah, 3,000 almost free.
3,000 almost free. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty dope. That's another stream of income. Talk about how that got started and what that did for you That was last year you started that, right?
Year.
And that was last year during the pandemic, when COVID first started.
Out of the storm.
Out of the storm. Yeah. So yeah, talk about that a little bit, man. The infield training. How was that for you last year?
The infield training was great. It was great. It was one of those things, again, like you asked me how I come up with the quotes. The infield training is something that came to my mind. Like, okay, how can I help some people? I know people are interested in getting in this game, especially in Cleveland, because Cleveland is one of the hottest markets. And I'm here. Like, this is my home. So I was like, how can I help some people get in the game and have success? Yeah. And the first thing that came to mind, it has to be hands-on, because I learned hands-on. Like, I don't like classroom. I guess that's why I dropped out in the 9th grade. But so I like hands-on. And so I felt like what's a better place to learn real estate than being in an actual property. So I had the vision came to me. And so I was on a live one day on IG, and I just put it out there. I didn't have the name, didn't have it all mapped out. Only thing I knew was that this is what I do every day, so I don't need to rehearse. This is what I do every day. I'm gonna invite some people out. This is how much it's gonna cost, and we're gonna go to some of my projects, and I'm gonna teach them hands-on. You know, how to evaluate it, how to put your budget together, how to build your dream team, how to vet your team. And when I announced it, at the time it was $1,000 per person. So I announced, I was like, I'm only gonna do 5 people. So I announced it. 5 people cashed out me the $1,000 as soon as I announced it. So then the next day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do seven people. So I was like, I got 2 more spots. Yeah. Cash out me 2,000. And so at that point, it was like 7 tickets sold. Yeah. And then I woke up one morning, I couldn't sleep, like 4 in the morning, and was like, how can I add more value to the people? Yeah. And I was like, Cousin Nita. Like, Cousin Nita, when it comes to teaching wholesaling, like the way that she breaks it down is like one of the best that I've seen. She's like,
shout out to Cousin Nita.
Yeah, so I was like, I called Cousin Nita probably about 9 o'clock that morning. I said, are you available to meet up around 1 o'clock? She was like, yeah. I was like, cool, meet me at Milwaukee Burst. So we meet up at Milwaukee Burst, and I give her the play. And when I give her the play, she started telling me how I should do it. I was like, no, we gonna do it. Like, we gonna partner. Yeah. She's like, I just help you do it. She's like, you already got 7 tickets sold already. I said, listen, I want your undivided attention. We gonna partner, and we're gonna split it 50% apiece. And so that's what we did. And it was like, she came up with the name, the 2-day infield training with the pros. She came up with the name. She put something together where, put the website together. Because me is like, I'm running no huddles. Yeah. Like, coach, give me the play. I'm running no huddles. And we just about to roll. I'm going to give you food for thought. You don't need no food. Yeah. And let's go. But she came in with that part, and it worked out perfect. Like, we had a great time. Like, teaching, sharing information, resources. The people loved it. Yeah, it's great.
So not only do you do real estate, which you create multiple ways to get money in the real estate business, you are also an author, which you got 2 books here, Quotes and Confirmation. There's one here, and then this was the second one, second edition, right? So on the back of it, you said, the first one, you said, this book was written to inspire and remind people that God equipped us with everything we need for this journey of life. And I hear you say that all the time, like, the best gift that God provided us is our brain. Correct. Right? You just use it because, and when you think about it, like, everything from the podcast to what we put on every day, to the cars that we drive, to the roads that are paved, these are all stuff that human beings created. So it's just amazing when people tap in to the gift that God has provided them. It's endless on what you could do.
The truth is this: as I observe and pay attention to America and the government and history and everything that we grew through as a people, all the different things that were put in front of us, the obstacles, the roadblocks, the distractions, all of those different things, that forced me to look inside. The reason why it forced me to look inside was this. I said, they portray us like we nothing. And so that's interesting, because if we don't mean anything, if we worthless, right? If we not kings, queens, etc., times 1,000, why would you put so much attention on us? Like, why would you put up all these obstacles, roadblocks? Like, why? Why would you give any attention to that? Nobody bothering homeless people.
Right.
Like, you're not giving no attention to homeless. So what is it about me that you know, that you understand, that I don't? What is it? Why are you giving me so much attention?
Yeah.
And another thing, when I think about bullies, people that bully are insecure. Because if you're confident with who you are, there's no need to bully. And so when I look at America again, it's like, okay, you're a bully. Like why? And so again, that forced me to look in. So I started to evaluate myself. I started to pay attention to, like if you get your G-Wagon. Do you see more G-Wagons now?
I do.
Right. So when you start to just pay attention to whether it's the law of attraction and all of those different things that seem strange if you didn't grow up learning those things, all those things are real. Right. It's like we got magic inside of us, right? Like, it's something special about us, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't continue to do what they do today. So I started to tap in. I started to spend time in personal development and growth. Like, I started to spend time there and just paying attention to my thoughts, reflecting on what was working, what wasn't working, why. I started to pay attention to when my bank account would get low and I would get nervous, and I'm focusing on the bank account going to zero, and every time I focused on it going to zero, it went to zero. And so, and it's funny when you do that, because I experienced that for like 10 years straight.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, bank account keep going to zero. Then I was like, let me give it some different energy. As I was reading, this is another thing, people say they read a lot of books, they go to seminars, but nobody's demonstrating the things that they reading and listening to. Yep. So I use my life like a science project. So I said, let me do the opposite. Let me not pay attention if it's getting low. Let me continue to be excited about life. Let me continue to smile. I don't need any money to smile. Right. God didn't say get some money first, get rich, and then you be happy. Right. No, we born with everything that we need from the beginning. We are happy. Wherever we are, that's where happiness resides. That's the key. Yeah. Money can't think. Right. It's dead people on the money. Right. So money can't think. Yeah. That's our responsibility. And so when I started to just practice and exercise different things, those muscles got stronger. And so it's like, okay, I'm the key. I'm the problem and the solution, not somebody else. Yeah. I used to blame other people, and it's like, okay, that didn't work for me. Or I used to get sad. Like, the sad don't work. Sad not gonna help your bank account get strong. You have to change the activities or how you handle money. Yeah. And so, to answer your question, when America and the system helped me to look inside, I was like, it got to be something here that I'm not seeing. It's something that I'm not missing. Because if you're putting that much energy into me, if you putting, I call it the $1 trillion distraction industry. TV, social media, like the news, like all those things are distraction. Yep. And what I've learned is, if you continue to focus outside of you or looking outside yourself for happiness, you're gonna be lost continuously. Yeah. The answers is inside of us. Like, we were equipped. It's like getting a Maybach with cloth seats and roll up windows. They don't sell Maybachs like that. Right. So it's like human beings, it's like we acting like we got roll up windows and cloth seats. Oh, God equipped us fully loaded. We fully equipped.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up. That's amazing. One of the things that I like that you do is you have, how many children do you have?
7.
You have 7 kids.
7. 5 girls and 2 boys.
5 girls and 2 boys. And one of the dopest thing that I like that you do is, man, that you put your kids on into the business. Like your daughter, your sons. I mean, they own property. They hit me up all the time. Lawrence, I got a property ready for you. And it's all on them. You working out with them. You traveling with them. Well, one of the things that you say is you're not building a legacy for your kids. You're building a legacy with your kids. That is amazing. So talk about that a little bit.
So that's another one of those things where we conditioned to just follow stuff. Like we don't even think about certain sayings. Like I'm a dream chaser. Mm-hmm. If you're a dream chaser, that means that your dream's running from you. Okay. That don't make sense. I'm a dream chaser. So it's the same thing with me and my definition of legacy. The people that I knew that their parents left them money, they wasn't educated on how to keep that money and make that money grow. Double up and triple up those assets, or even how to build an asset. Yeah. So they lost it. Mm-hmm. So legacy sound cute, but most of the people are not equipped to build assets or manage assets. They're not equipped. So I feel like I have the best chance of creating a legacy with my kids because they can never forget the things that we do together, the assets that we buy together, the assets that we build together, the businesses that we build together, the turbulence, the trials, the tribulations, the solutions that we solve. They can never forget that. So what's going to happen is when I think legacy, they got that in them because we've experienced those experiences together. Then when they have kids, they're going to do the same thing. And then their kids going to do the same thing. Yeah. I think I have a better chance of building a legacy like that versus I'm going to build and buy assets and just hand it to them. Think about it. If somebody just hand you something, most of the time when it's handed to you, you're not going to value it. Yep. It's just handed to you. Yep. It's like giving away free information. Those free classes. Yep. And most people didn't come. Yep. It was free. Yep. They didn't come.
Yep. Yeah. Beyond, hey, I appreciate you being on the show, man. As you know, I'm offering lunch. So we got Chef Tawana in the house preparing us an amazing meal. I'm not sure what she prepared us, but we're going to find out in a second. And we're going to sit down and break bread, man.
Sounds great.
So I want to raise our glass, man. Toast to the hustle. Cleveland Entrepreneurs, episode 1 in the books. Cheers.
All right, so what we have for you today.
Oh, this looks amazing.
We have the garlic red skin mashed potatoes, spinach and shrimp stuffed salmon, and we have our side salad and a brioche roll.
Awesome.
So enjoy.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. I really appreciate it.